So you really don't need a whole lot when it comes to cookie decorating, but there is so much that you might want to buy. You can really get lost in cookie cutters, cute scribes, mixer options, or I can anyway. I get on Etsy and go down a rabbit hole fast. But these are the kind of more basic things that are kind of my must-haves, and there are a few optional things that just make life a lot easier as well. But really all you need to get started cookie decorating, if you don't have anything but your ingredients and a toothpick to use as a scribe, you can decorate cookies. You can use Ziplocs for popping bags. There are lots of ways that you can be kind of scrappy with it and get started with what you probably already have in your kitchen, but these are a few game-changing tools that just make life a lot easier and make cookie decorating a little bit more fun and pleasant experience to me. I really like these things. Different cookie decorators have different preferences about what tools they use, and I'm just sharing with you the ones that I love today. If we haven't met before, I'm Sarah Grace. I teach people to create beautiful decorated sugar cookies with royal icing and how to create flexible income from home with those sweet skills. So my first one, Tipless piping bags. Now these are different than the regular pastry bags or like cake decorating piping bags that you would find in the baking aisle of your local store or like Hobby Lobby. These are a special kind of piping bag that have a different texture, and it's very thin plastic at the tip. So I'm going to bring it up here where you can see it. It looks like this, and you can see, please ignore my less than manicured hands. You can see that when you are using a bag like this, once you put the icing down in there, you can snip the top off of this, and it is like using a metal piping tip without having to deal with, wash, or mess with the metal piping tips at all. When you're decorating cookies, you have to have a lot of piping bags, and if you use reusable bags with metal tips, that can get time consuming when it comes to washing. So the tipless bags are my absolute favorite, especially for writing. I love them. My favorite brand is Wonderfully Delicious, but I often just buy the cheap kind from Amazon when I just want to get some here fast or when I just want something that I can flood with. But when I'm writing or doing something that's high detail, I really prefer to have the Wonderfully Delicious bags. Now, to seal the tops of these bags, you have a couple options. You can use rubber bands. You can even tie them in a knot. But what I love to have is a little clip like this one. It's a cute little pink bow-shaped chip clip that I got from Amazon. And this can just clip over the top of that piping bag, and it actually kind of stabilizes your hand. So I like to use these when I'm writing. However, this thing became my best friend, my go-to girl for when I was doing in-person cookie decorating classes. This thing is amazing. So you take the bag and pop it down in this little slot here, so you kind of, where you would fasten it goes bump right there. This is used for like butchers, newspaper baggers, I believe it said on Amazon. But the cookie community has taken it over. We're obsessed with it. And this thing is fantastic, especially when you need to bag a lot of icing. So the link to this is in the blog post that's in the description below. Again, I've put the link to that in the description, and you can find that blog post that has all the Amazon links to get this great stuff on Amazon. And I tried to go with stuff that could be found all on Amazon or somewhere that you could easily get it shipped online, because I know that most of us are going to have access to Amazon. Gel food coloring. This is very different than the typical food coloring you'd buy at your local grocery store. It's much more thick, more concentrated, so it won't affect the consistency of your icing as much, and it will create a beautiful, vibrant color. Now, be aware, this stains skin, clothes, countertops, and kitchens all over, so be very careful with this. So my little boy got a hold of some gel food coloring when he was about 1.5, 2, when I had kind of gotten started in my home decorating business. And I had a little cookie cart that I would use to kind of hide my decorating away until they were down for a nap or in bed for the night, so that I could keep them out of this stuff. And the cookies, of course. And he found some on the counter. I left some out. He had it all over him. I think the next day was Sunday, so we didn't have time to get him cleaned off before church, because it takes like 7 baths to get that stuff completely washed off of your skin and teeth sometimes if you're using a really concentrated amount of it. So let me just tell you a cautionary tale. It's funny to look back on now, and it has finally washed off of him, but he had it all over his hands. He had it all over his little face. He was a pretty comical sight. Now, you can absolutely use a toothpick to do the spreading motion on your icing and spread it out to the edges of your cookie. They work just fine, but I do love having a Scribe Tool. This is what it looks like. You can get them in some really cute colors and patterns with little charms on them. These are the $1 pack from Amazon. I think they're like $6 for 6 scribes. They're fantastic. They're really comfortable, easy to use, and they have a nice pointy tip that gets a little thicker, so they hold up really well. These are the ones that I give to my students in cookie decorating classes when we have them in person. They come in different colors, like I said, and they're more comfortable to grip. For me, this feels more like I'm holding a pencil, and it's almost like writing. So it's more of a writing motion. Whereas when you're using a toothpick, you do have to get like a little bit tighter grip on it, and sometimes it's a little bit harder to maneuver those than it is to use these. So I really prefer the Scribe, and it's super handy to have on hand for all kinds of decorating projects. The next most basic thing that I think you really need if you're going to start decorating cookies more than like once in a blue moon is a cookie turntable. So this is just a little Lazy Susan. It's a mini version, and this one's even marked. You can see there's flour in it, but this one's even marked with the different sizes in cookie. So for like the diameter, I think is what this is. I'm not sure. But like I said, you lay it flat, you set your cookie on top, and this allows you to turn your cookie as you're decorating, which is really handy. I also like to use this when I'm trying to get a lot of the same design done. If I'm doing like a ton of apple cookies, say, or whatever I'm doing for like a pre-sale, then I'll set this on the counter, which I don't do pre-sales anymore because I'm making content full-time, but when I used to, I would set these on the counter and set the baking sheet full of cookies on top, and then I was able to turn the baking sheet itself, and I could get to my entire pan of cookies really easily. So that was something I used this for, as well as flowers. This is really handy for flowers because you can just turn as you go to make those beautiful petals. Now, the last thing that I really recommend when it comes to starting your cookie decorating journey is some type of mixer. I love my KitchenAid, but I know that a KitchenAid mixer is a pretty big investment. So if you start out with a hand mixer, you absolutely can start out with one of those. It's not going to hurt a thing to start your journey with a hand mixer, but I recommend as soon as possible getting yourself some sort of stand mixer, and the tougher the better when it comes to your stand mixers. I'm ashamed to say that I have burned up 3 KitchenAid mixers in the 3 years that I've been decorating cookies. Thankfully, the KitchenAid factory has been very understanding, and they're actually sending a box for me to put this one in and send to their factory in Georgia to be repaired. But I love my KitchenAid mixer. It creates the most beautiful, fluffy royal icing. It creates really nice, cohesive dough, and it is my jam. I use it for bread making. I use it for all kinds of stuff in my kitchen when it comes to cooking for my family. But I've also heard great things about Bosch. I've heard great things about the Cuisinarts. It just depends on like what your budget is, what you are looking for in a mixer, and kind of what's well priced at the time. You know, sometimes you can get mixers on like a Black Friday deal, and you can get a really great deal on them. So I would check into a stand mixer of some kind. My mom got me this one when Kane and I first got married. It's very sentimental to me because that was my Christmas gift the year that we were getting married. She knew that I wanted pops of pink in my kitchen. And little did she know that I would start a baking business and really need that mixer a few years later. So that was the perfect gift. But if you are able to get you a KitchenAid stand mixer at this point in time, I would definitely recommend it. I've had great experiences with mine and great experiences with the KitchenAid customer service team as well. They are precious and absolutely great to work with. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I just really like KitchenAid. Again, none of these items are sponsored, but the links in the blog post are affiliate links, which means that I get like 2 or 3 cents if you buy something from Amazon after watching my video today, as just like a little kickback for mentioning the product to you. So if you like those links, again, head to the blog post in the description below, and that will show you where to order those on Amazon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and click the notification bell. That way you get a notification each time I post a new video. If you'd like to hear more about cookie decorating every day of the week and connect with people who are on the same journey as you, and of course see some beautiful cookie inspiration, come join us in the Cookie Confidence Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and in the groups tab search Cookie Confidence, and that'll bring up our group. You can click join and answer the membership questions just so we know you're a real person, and we'll be happy to let you in and we can start chatting with you about cookie decorating. It helps so much to have a community of support around you anytime you're starting something new. And we have all been in that stage where we were beginners and we remember it well. So even if someone looks like they're decorating professional quality, fancy cookies now, they remember those days of first learning to make royal icing and figuring out all the tips and tricks that come along with cookie decorating and cookie art. Now, if you are super excited to learn cookie decorating skills and start bringing your cookie ideas into reality, then I'd love to tell you about my Cookie Classroom program. This is a special program designed to take you from cookie novice to cookie pro, and we walk you through all the steps through 16 different individual workshops. So you'll start with consistency, and then you'll learn some beginner techniques like wet on wet, watercolor, all those good things. And then you'll progress to some more advanced skills like writing, decorating with florals, and transfers, royal icing transfers. They're like stickers for cookies. There are 16 classes in this bundle of classes. It walks you through the order in which to take all of these, and you can learn more about that in the description below if you are interested in the Cookie Classroom program. You can get into the program for as little as $25 today, and that's spaced out over 6 monthly payments, or you can get a little bit of a discount and start for $145. And that's lifetime access to all of that, as well as a year of access to the Cookie Career Academy Facebook group to help you get started in your